Welcome, everyone, to the Med Spa Accelerator Podcast, brought to you by Cass Clinical Consulting and Everable Marketing, the go-to resource to learn the latest hacks and the best practices for marketing and growing a profitable medical aesthetics practice. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the next episode of the Med Spa Accelerator Podcast. I'm joined today with our co-host and my beautiful wife, Maribili Menchaca, who is also our coup at Everable Marketing. And so we have a pretty cool podcast today. Yeah.
I'm excited.
Yeah, really cool episode. We're actually going to divide this into two.
Yeah.
And so what we're going to be talking today, I guess the overarching name of the episode is called The Things That You Should Be Doing to Promote Your Event. And we're going to divide this into two episodes. The first one's going to be, we're going to be talking about the strategy.
Yeah.
And then on the next episode, we're going to talk a little bit more about the tactics, like the actual things that you can do to promote the event and try to get, the best results possible. Yeah.
I'm really excited about this one because I feel like right now, we just came out from the summer months where it's a little bit more chill in the med spa space.
Yeah.
And now we're going into fall where like things start to pick up a lot more.
Yes. Yeah.
So definitely what we've seen in the past, and you can let me know like otherwise, but I feel like September events are a great hit.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So we have a few clients right now that are planning events in September, so that's always fun and exciting to help them kind of push that.
Yeah,
and
it is a really fun like strategy, and I feel like I feel like we kind of nailed on like some of the things that we have done in the past and kind of like refined it as we go along, and we have like a really good set of, I guess, like a strategy, but also like a process into creating these events and promoting these events for our clients.
Yeah. And so for those of you guys who don't know, we've been working with med spas for the last 5 years now. And so throughout those 5 years, one of the things that we get asked a lot is like, can we help our clients promote their events, right? Help them get high attendance, help them get really good results. And so I want to say, well, this was actually during the summer. Was it in June?
What?
We're a Canadian client.
Oh, yes.
Was it in June?
Yeah.
June. So we actually had a client in June who they're actually based in Canada. We did a cool sculpting event. Hey, shout out. And they did a cool week. So it was an event of 4 days. And then on 2 of those days, they had presentations and live demos and stuff like that. But then really they were just focusing in on getting consultations. And we implemented our marketing strategy for this event. And we helped them. I think we generated, I think it was 58 consults, or is it 51? I think it was 51 consults, and they got 27 new clients out of that, and they made $118,000 guys in those 4 days, and it was an amazing result.
Event.
Yeah.
Yes, they have an amazing staff. They know how to work it, which is a really strategic part of making your event work well. Like you have to have that communication with your staff, and we can talk more about that in the tactic side of it.
Yeah, for sure.
But let's just go first into like the strategy.
Yeah. Well, I think this is something that's going to be super helpful for you guys, because we actually, when I'm talking to like new prospects and stuff like that, one of the things that we always kind of talk about is also like events, and sometimes we have clients that just already do really, really well. Other times, they haven't really cracked the code into what a successful event looks like. And so today, guys, we're going to give you the good stuff, right? We're actually going to give you our entire process.
Yes.
And there's actually going to be a download with this. This is the exact document that we actually give our clients
to fill out
so that we can have the most successful event, right? So, let's go ahead and actually talk about the first thing that we need to talk about whenever we do these type of events for our clients is your goals.
I think this is something very important that a lot of people forget.
I feel like, either they forget or they just don't think it's that important and they just kind of like breeze through it, or they just like, they're doing so many things and they don't really give it the time of day.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
But I feel like this is something like that really takes your event to the next level, because you can have, and even if you haven't started kind of like diving into numbers or kind of seeing what is it that you actually need to know before, it's good to start. So just giving that like first event a start and kind of like figuring it out from there, I think like it's like key to make sure that you always do better in the future.
For sure. I mean, I think the main thing is coming in with an intent, guys.
Yes.
And then the other thing is like, what does success look like? Like, what does success look like for you, right? Is it 5 people? Is it 10 people? Is it 100 people? And so based off your experience of where you're at in your business, if you're a new business, then, doing an event might mean, well, I might just want, it's my first time. So I'm just expecting like a small event, 10, 20 people max, right? Want to be a little bit more exclusive. Or it's more of like a end of, kind of like the year celebration, open house type of party where you want 50 or 100 people to show up and stuff like that. So what is your intent going in with this event, right? Do you want to promote a specific product more than another product, right? How many people do you expect? Not just how many people you expect, but then how many either consultations do you want to have, or how much revenue do you want to generate out of this event? Because let's be honest, you're putting in it, you're gonna putting
some money.
Money, and then on top of that too, your time, not just your time, but your staff's time. If you're paying them overtime just to kind of be there at the event, if you're doing it after hours or whatever it is, right? So there is an investment that is going to go into you promoting this event. So you want to make sure that you get, your return out of it, right? So super good. So you definitely want to, establish how many people you want to attend, and then just a revenue, guys. I mean, a revenue goal. Like, even if you don't hit it, like, but at least like, okay, well, we had 5 people show up and we made 20 grand. Awesome, right? Now that gives you a gauge for that next time when you do an event, you already have data and numbers to kind of base your results off of, right? And then you can start seeing like, well, you know what? September is a great month to do events. Hey, you know what? August isn't a great time to do events because people are focused on back to school and their kids and all that stuff. So, as you start acquiring this data, you have that data to help you make better decisions in your business moving forward.
Right. Plus also like your specific audience, and it kind of varies too, like from place to place, wherever you're located, the culture of that place, like it might be a little bit different. So you kind of have to crack also like your audience itself. What do they like? What do they appreciate? What do they want to know? So based off of that, you kind of like start implementing some new strategies and tactics into like creating this event, right?
Awesome. For sure. All right. So now let's talk about like, what is it going to take to actually get people to show up, and how can we make the event as appealing? A success. And how can we make it as appealing as possible? And so whenever I talk to people about, kind of planning this event, I always try to put them in that mindset of your audience, right? The people that are actually going to show up. So you got to think about it like this, right? That people are in it. People, really, I think I said this before, right? But people really obviously they care about themselves. So you have to you have to give them a really good reason to show up. Think about it like this. Like at the end of the day, you're asking somebody who's already spent, if you're doing an evening event, the entire day working or running errands, or, they've had a long day already. And you have to really give them a good reason as to why they should drive 20, 30, 60 minutes or more and to go out of their way to leave their family behind, or other events or other commitments. Get a babysitter, whatever it is, to attend your event. Yeah. What can you do to give them enough incentive to get them to show up, right? And that's how we have to think about this, because you are asking them to go out of their way to show up to your event, you know?
Yes. No, yeah. And I feel like it is a good combination of like that incentive of like getting out there and actually like going through everything to get to that event, plus the experience during the event.
For sure.
So first, let's kind of start into like, what is it that they can do to make their event appealing? Yeah.
So, we talk about this all the time, but it's like having a great offer, right? And so a lot of the times, like having a great offer really consists of a few elements, right? We want to say that it's something that's going to be irresistible, and that you're going to be giving, or you're going to be providing a few different things that is just going to make somebody's time worthwhile, right? It's like, if I go, it's going to be time well spent, it was okay that I kind of lost, or, what kind of like that opportunity cost, when you kind of look at it, right? But what are some of the elements that you can include in your event to make sure that it's as attractive as possible? So, these are 4 things that if you can get all 4, then awesome. Yes. And I think that will kind of help you have the best, like the most irresistible offer of, that you could have. But if you can get 2 or 3, I mean, I think that's still fine. You got to work with what you got. And also it depends on how much resources, how much money you want to invest into this event so you can get out of it. And so if your first time, maybe you don't want to put in that much. If this is a bigger event, then you want to put in a little bit more, right?
And I feel it also depends on which service it is that you want to kind of promote the most, right? Yeah. So if it is a higher package, then you might want to spend a little bit more, splurge a little bit more, because it is something that they're going to end up investing thousands of dollars rather than something that might just be maybe a couple hundred.
For sure. So that first thing is a raffle, and you might already do this. If you do, then awesome. And we help our clients a lot with like cool sculpting events, right? And so for cool sculpting events, it's very common that somebody gives away a free cycle or a free, 2 cycles of free treatment, right? Yeah. And so people tend to always do raffles, whether it's like, maybe it's a type of cosmetic treatment or, a package, right? Maybe if you do memberships, maybe it's like one of your grand prizes can be like a year membership, or a 6-month membership, something like that. Yeah. Right. And so those are always like really good. You want to have an offer. I mean,
sometimes
a raffle.
Even like skin products, skincare products, if you have them.
And actually that goes into another piece where I like to say it's like you want to have your main thing. Like, for example, if you're doing a cool sculpting event, then if you give away a cool sculpting treatment, then that is going to be, something that is appealing, right? Yeah. The thing is, though, that only one person can win that, So you want to,
have a grand prize.
Yeah. Like you want to have a little bit more to that to kind of help. To kind of also motivate people like, there's more chances to win, right? Or to win something. And so I always say, like, you want to give something away that is related to whatever the event is about. Like I said, cool sculpting, but then you want to have something that's has a little bit more appeal to the, general public, right? Right. And so one of the things that I would say is like definitely skincare products, right? I think everybody would love a skincare product. And if you can actually tie that in with something that has more appeal, like, for example, one of the things that you can really do to kind of make it really glamorous, luxurious, and get a lot of people to come in is you could purchase like a branded, purse or bag or something like that. Like, let's just say, high end. Like you can, let's just say a Gucci bag or something like that filled with skincare products. So you have something that has like massive appeal to the general public, but then you have the skincare products, and that ties it all together with your practice, right? Yeah. And so people are really going to want to come to get the better.
I'm not gonna lie, a woman loves a high-end purse.
So that'll be definitely something that I think people would really, really appreciate. Yeah. Obviously, doing things like gift bags for people that attended, right? I think is definitely something that you want to leave a good impression. Yeah. Maybe everybody gets like a small like skincare product or something like that that's not too expensive.
Even some sort of like coupon or like a promo for like a 50% off dermaplaning. Something also that can
everybody gets
just
like a
$25
gift card, you know what I mean?
Yes.
I think stuff like that is really good. Like even just for showing up, you get something, right? Even if it's small.
Yes, and I do like that idea of like a $25 off for like a future service, because that also like kind of helps you bring them back again after the event.
I mean, and you can do those $25 gift cards that they have to at least spend $50 or whatever, right? But at least they already have this gift from you. They're gonna, the chances that they come back and get something done and
introduce them
spend
to
more,
other services
is going to be very, very likely. So those are little things that you can kind of have as incentives, right? And then you also want to have like a really good offer, right? You want to have promotions going on. So, anybody that attends, right, at the day of the event, you can definitely lock in some special promotion that we're only having this day and at this time, And the cool thing too is that a lot of times maybe somebody can't show up, but if you can also set it up so that if they call and like just book it through the phone, like then they can lock in those savings too, which is like really
you can give them that opportunity of like if you're not attending, you still want to get this price, just call us, but it's a 1 day only. They can get the service sometime later during the year or that month. You can also set a deadline or a timeline. They can bank them for like a later use, whatever like that might look like for you, but definitely like giving them that opportunity of like either texting you or booking online or whatever that
through the phone.
Make it easy for them. I think like we've talked about this before. You want to make it easy and convenient for the people that are like your ideal audience, right?
For sure. No, and something that I will say here is like, and this might kind of touch on a little bit about the tactics, and I guess maybe we can dive in a little bit more in the next episode, but I think it's super important because this is where people, like everything we're talking about right now is like trying to make the event attractive people to show up, right? But then going to the offer and the promotions and stuff like that, like one of the biggest issues that I see a lot of the times is that you have this special promotion going on, like a one-time promotion for the event, but then when comes time to collect money, like people don't take deposits.
What?
And it's like the worst thing that you can do. Like that is going to kill the event. You know what I mean? Like if you don't lock people in and get a deposit right then and there, then they're just not going to be committed. And they're going to know that that one-time offer wasn't really was just something you made up, wasn't something that you really, really honor, you know? Yeah. And so you want to make sure that they either they pay full in that same day, or if they give you a deposit and they can just pay the rest later, but they have to give a deposit to lock in that special promotion.
Yes, for sure. And there are like a couple of ways that they can also do this. I think like we've done in the past where you can you even say it like to RSVP you need to pay $50, $25, which later on you can use towards the service, right? So that is a great way of having people that are committed. And then the other is going into the educational part of it prior to the event. So you're already like letting them know about if it's going to be cool sculpting or M-sculpt or like something that might require a little bit more of an investment.
All your cosmetic services like injectables or lasers or anything like that.
Right. And then just educating them, letting them know exactly what they need. So they're almost ready to like come in with that deposit.
For sure.
So those are two great ways of like just kind of playing it out. And that's why like we'll go a little bit more into towards like the tactics and kind of like the wording of it for sure. But those are great ways to make sure that you have people that are a little bit more committed.
Definitely. And then number 4 is just the details, guys. Obviously you want to have food, you want to have refreshments, you want to make sure the place looks cool. You want to have cool music, like good music,
good music makes or breaks an event, I think. For sure.
And so, I mean, again, like you don't want to cheap out on like some of the food and beverages and stuff like that. You want to make sure people have a good time and have a good experience at the party. So again, they can go home, talk to their friends about it, and then ultimately come back for, those new people, the people that brought friends, right, that they're like, oh yeah, this place was super awesome. I love the way they treated us. I'm going to come back.
That's what I was going to say. Done. So not only like paying attention to like the food, the decor, the music, but also your staff, right? Your staff is key element of, and it's just like an extent of your brand. So having them already like pumped up about the event. Of course, you probably already have like a lovely staff that says say hi or welcome or whatever whenever somebody comes in through the door. But it has to even be, I feel like, heightened during the event. So pumping them up before the event, making sure that everybody's happy. There's probably some stress going on already because like there's a lot going on, but just, pumping them up before the event, I feel like it's going to be key for during the event. Everybody kind of has answers. They know what to do. They know where they're going. They're just lively and make this experience for whoever's coming a great one.
Yes, guys, 100%. I mean, you want, I mean, just to reiterate, you want people to have the best experience possible. Right?
You want them to be talking about it.
And that's the thing, like first impressions, like for those new people that are coming, first impressions are everything. And so, an event is a great way to, generate revenue, but then also, looking at the long-term aspect to it, generate new patients, right? Especially if your current patients are bringing their friends with them. And so that's the thing, like if I'm already your patient and I'm bringing my friend, well, I want to feel like I made a good recommendation, right?
Yes, for sure.
So, so like, that's super important, and that falls on you, right? That falls on you.
Yes, I feel like you can definitely get new patients from an event, but you can also kind of like reestablish those relationships with your current ones.
For sure.
So, of course, like, again, going back to your staff, like if you have current patients, like making sure that you know their names and making sure that like you greet them by name. I think like that's something like so important. Like, so when I go somewhere and they're like, hey, Maripili, I'm like, oh my God, they know my name. I feel so important.
People feel good when you say their
yes,
name.
Yes. I mean, I'm not saying you have to have their picture and
right,
name
Maripili?
and you never call me that.
I know.
But
so I mean,
some details here and there that to pay attention to, and
for sure,
making that experience like feel very high end, feel very special for
VIP people. You gotta make people feel
yes.
VIP. Yeah. So, you know, I feel like we're going to talk about timelines now and what we recommend. Yes. I feel like that also can be a little bit tactical, but we'll just kind of dive into it.
But I feel like it is very important for prior to starting the tactics. Like,
sure.
Yes, it has to be part of your strategy.
So we always tell people that you want to have everything ready and planned 4 weeks in advance. Okay. And that means that you already established your goals. You establish what type of event it's going to be. You establish the promotions, the offer, all the raffles, all of the little details that you're going to have as part of the event, the schedule.
If you're going to have a several day or a 1 day event.
Yes. Like all of those things, we always recommend that they're done 4 weeks out. Right.
Yes.
And honestly, if you can have it longer than that, it probably would be okay, because planning is super important.
Right.
Yeah.
Plus also a lot of the brands and services and technologies, they usually also offer some sort of like a newsletter for like, I know it might go a little bit more nationwide.
Yeah.
But for example, for Cool Sculpting, if you tell them a month in advance about your event, they'll actually add it on their newsletter.
Yeah.
So even though it goes like nationwide, if somebody is interested in Cool Sculpting and they don't know that you might offer it, or they're just like looking, they get that email and they can see like, oh, events around where I'm at, near me. So they can click on it and they can see your event.
Yeah.
So having those details and those stuff like in advance, it can also potentially, like you can give it to several of these.
For sure.
Companies.
Yeah, no, that's really, really good. And that's true. So then, so leverage those resources that you have available as much as you can, right? So again, planning beforehand so you can try to leverage that as much as possible.
Yes.
Then we always say after you have everything planned, then you want to start promoting. We like to say at least 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
Yeah, 3 weeks in advance. That's going to give you enough time to really just expose the event to people.
Yes.
And then for them to start taking into consideration and start making plans around it, right?
Yeah. I feel like if it's 2 way in advance, you start telling people, you can kind of tease them here and there, give them like a little save the date or like this is coming up. Without too many details, it might be good. But starting like that, like 3 weeks before, you want to go like full on. It gives you enough time to not saturate them either, because you don't want to seem too pushy, but enough time to send out like social media posts and emails, text messages, all of that stuff that we'll talk about in our next episode. But it just gives you enough time to, like Luis said, just like give them time to plan ahead and make sure that they're available to go. But it also, a lot of people kind of like have to see it a few times before actually committing to it.
For sure. Yeah, and at the end of the day, guys, this is going to give you enough time to really just build and get the attendance that you want.
Yes.
You know, I mean, we just need to take, people's schedule into consideration. And so giving them a little bit of time, like, in that first week with 3 weeks out, it's a little bit of like content here and there, like Billy was saying, save the dates, different things like that. Then I feel like usually like the 2 weeks out is when we're hit it a little bit harder and really make sure that they see it and they start RSVPing.
And you're pretty much everywhere.
Yeah.
They're in their phones, text messages, in their emails.
In their computers. Yeah, no, awesome. On the radio. No,
what?
Yeah, we could.
If you're having a huge event, yes.
All right, guys. Well, that's pretty much it when it comes to covering kind of like the strategy when it comes to really getting or promoting a successful event, for your Med Spa. So
this is like the
base,
the
foundation.
Yes. Yes. Thank you.
So I want to encourage you to stay tuned and make sure that you listen to the next episode, because we're going to dive into all of the tactics, guys.
Yes.
Everything that we do as an agency to help our clients get the best results possible when it comes to promoting their events, right?
Yes.
So make sure to check it out, and go and check out also our Facebook group. If you're not on there already, go to Facebook, type in Med Spa Accelerator Podcast, and you're going to find us. Request access will get you accepted right away.
Yeah.
And if you
Either way, the links are in the show notes, or
Yeah.
if you're watching us on YouTube, it's also on the description box.
Awesome. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much, and have an awesome week.
And we'll see you
Catch you next week. Yeah.
Bye.